Everyone, it's Jason here with Best Bonsai, and this we've been training for about three and a half months now. And what we first did when we received it, all the inner nodes of the branches, well, I should say all the branches because there were only primary branches, were just out all lanky. There was just one branch each of these was one branch going straight up, and there were probably some of them out to here. So what I did is I cut a lot of those inner nodes back, made them shorter. So we have shorter inner node. We'll ramify closer to the trunk, meaning split, so that we can get thicker, denser foliage closer to this nice, like I've said since the beginning, impressive bald trunk that this ficus has. Um, Once we achieve a good branch structure and good foliage, fill all this in with green, it's going to be a very stunning piece. In a 9-inch ceramic, low profile ceramic pot, which I really like. And I think the selection of the branches, we have our primary branch here, secondary, and then all the anterior branches around. All this foliage will very soon fill in with compact, dense foliage. What I've been doing to keep the shape of the tree is just continue to trim back the tips as they come in. So when we have new growth on a ficus, you'll always you'll always see a little tip at the end, like so. So you can directionally prune this like that way, slanting down that way, which would make a cluster of 4, because you have 1, 2, 2 down there, 3, and then the next one would be over there. So as you can see, the foliage is very healthy. It's growing in very thick. We have a little bit of dead wood in the middle of the trunk here that I can do some carving on and kind of enhance quite a bit and make it look a little more interesting, give it a little more character. What I'll probably do is do some lines, give it some grooves so it has different depth, and creates the appearance of age that way. And a very aged, um, textured, beautiful trunk. You can see like these tips here. Oh, I guess not. But as you can, what I want to do is get all these leaves here unbunched, because you can see how the wiring got them kind of clustered. We don't want that. And then as we continue to train it, we'll trim back the larger leaves so that the smaller leaves are encouraged to grow, and the larger leaves tend to subside. Ficus is a tree that you can reduce the size of the leaf by a third, get it to a third of its original size. So 75%, I'm sorry, 67.5 or whatever it is percent of its original size. This is my juniper here, where you see I have a lot of dead wood here twisting around. This branch here is not putting off any growth, so that's going to become dead wood. In fact, we'll go inside and I'll show you guys that right now. I'll go ahead and carve that branch out, and then I'll apply lime sulfur to it to bleach the dead wood. Alright, so I'll give you guys a little taste of some dead wood there. Also, we had the other fig, the other ficus, the cascade. And if you guys remember, this is two trees grafted together. There's the graft point. And what we're striving for here is to create enough aerial roots that it really thickens up bottom here and creates for a thick trunk base, and thickens up this part right here, because up here it's quite thick, and then obviously where the next tree is, thank God it's covered up by plenty of foliage, plenty of dense foliage. So that's looking good. We have our excuse me guys, Buddha pine, which the name is slipping my mind right now for some odd reason. I know it like the back of my hand. Schefflera. No, this is not Schefflera. What the heck? Buddha pine. So you can see we've started this air layer here. I scraped off all the cambio layers down to just the white part where the roots grow from. I hadn't had success with it up until this point, so today I added some root hormone. I scraped away the bark that had healed over, and this time I added a little bit of powdered root hormone and rubbed it in to the 1-inch cut that's below this soil substrate. So the idea is we grow roots into this pouch right here, and we start a new tree from the top, because I don't like all this on the bottom. That's not very aesthetically pleasing. But this top part would be a perfect shohin size specimen. I could cut this down quite a bit and have a nice shohin handheld. Customer just reserved this Japanese elm. I've been training this guy for a year. I fixed a trunk that could really make the roots pop out more, and I've been really working on the deciduous branch structure. I'll let the shoots grow just long enough where they become hardwood, and then I cut them back to 2, maybe 3 sets of leaves at the 1 set of leaves, maybe 1.5 sets at the most, 3 leaves total for each branch. And then I'll cut it back to there once it's developed hardwood up to that point. I don't cut it when it's still soft green growth, because it won't ramify from there, it won't split. If I let it get thick enough, become a thick enough branch like this here, it will have enough width that it'll be able to split from that point. That's why you see it's got a pretty thick canopy with pretty dense foliage and that part of the tree is looking really nice. I'm happy with that, how that part of the training went out. Of course, I have my Poinciana. I've been training this for a year and a half now as well. It's nighttime or dusk, so it's starting to close. You know, Poincianas at nighttime, the leaves close. But I'm hoping by next summer I'll have beautiful red flowers on this flamboyant. You can see on the bottom how the trunk is beginning to get some nice texture. It's even starting to develop nabari. Beautiful. I have a lot of little cuttings developing. One of my favorites is this little ceresa here. If you look at it, it looks like a tiny little tree already. So this is going to be a nice meme. And again, I'm trying to cut back the inner nodes. I'm letting them grow out a little long now so that they can become hardwood. But as soon as I get hardwood, I'm going to cut it at that point. Another one of our jades. I have jades everywhere. Tons of ficus I'm training. A couple juniper. Got my mini jade. Not much in the collection right now, but it's always fun regardless. And I like the fact that I'm doing a lot of weird stuff, like this exposed root bougainvillea. This is something you won't see anywhere else. Some kind of caterpillar got into the foliage. It was very full. Oh. Yeah, he ate a lot of my leaves, see? Took a bite there too. Alright, so I'm gonna end this video and I'll take you guys inside and we'll be doing the deadwood on this black olive here. We're gonna strip down all these very fine ramified branches because they're not growing new foliage. So what we're gonna do is turn them into deadwood. All right, I'll see you guys.